You know that synchronicity is a real thing, and I was just making a video for my Body Language Guy channel about guilt tripping. Remember guilt tripping, when somebody tries to manipulate you into doing something or not doing something, but based into non-argument, just for the sake of manipulating your behavior or your actions or your decisions. Well, in this case, Harry, as usual, I would say that Meghan, through Harry, because we already know that Harry is a puppet. Harry is trying to guilt trip the king through the media, saying that it was bad parenting. Was Prince Harry's striking claim that his mental health struggles were passed on through bad parenting. I can imagine that these are just ripples of the Spare book effect. It's just that. He has always been a vocal campaigner on mental health, having grown up under the scrutiny of the media and the royal family. So does this mean the scrutiny of the royal family? You mean all the opportunities that you had to shine, to make a difference for the world, to bring attention to all these initiatives, to be able to do something like your mother did, and you try to cosplay Diana all the time? I guess that, you were oppressed. But Prince Harry has done even more work on the issue since stepping down as a working royal. Who wrote this? Ed Holt. Ed Holt, you are a moron. As a working royal and relocated to California. Just last year, Harry called for the term mental health to be replaced with mental fitness at a conference in New York. And this is from a guy who is not either mentally fit or mentally healthy. So again, any moron can have a platform. Any moron can have a YouTube channel, they say. But Prince Harry pays a VIP treatment for that. He called for the mental health to be replaced with mental fitness at a conference in New York, where he also said mental health was a very, very important subject that affects every single one of us from top to bottom, from the youngest to the oldest. And in 2022, he chided the reluctance of Britons to seek counseling and praised what he called the "I'll get my therapist to call your therapist" mentality he's found since moving to America with Meghan Markle. I guess, Harry, I'm going to make a pause on this. I'm pretty sure that is your minion is watching my video right now. Maybe your AI minion. Maybe you fire your minions or you hire your AI minions to watch my videos and find out what is the royal rogue up to. But I'm gonna tell you something, Harry, and it's a recommendation from man to mouse, from man to gingerbread. Man up, man. Therapy is for pussies. We men do not do therapy. And I'm not sure I'm going to get a lot of flack from my beautiful royal rogues. I can understand. We men don't do therapy. We use three things: steel, stakes, and what else? And sun. That's, yeah, and sweat as well. It's like there's a lot of S in there. Just lift, bro. Have you tried going to the gym and lifting huge arse weights, Harry? I bet you don't know how satisfying is a huge deadlift. Yeah, that is my therapy. That has always worked, and that is my mental health. No, don't be. You're being a. I'm gonna say the word. You're being a pussy. Man up, Harry. You minion, tell your boss that. Tell your boss that it's the best thing I will ever do for him. If I ever do something for Harry, go and lift huge arse weights, gingerbread. Indeed, the prince has become remarkably candid about his own mental health struggles in recent years, which he claims has been aided by Meghan. Well, his mental health struggles have been aided by Meghan. That is not wrong. Nice one. Who identified his need to see a therapist as early as 2016. Oh my God. However, while the so-called Peace Summit that took place last week have raised hopes of the rifts between the palace and the Sussex being healed, his discussions have in the past caused further divisions in the family, as in blaming Charles for all those parenting pitfalls. And we have seen all the pictures. Harry with Charles hanging out together. What more? What more do you want? You know how many kids all over the world with parents that are not divorced, with we could say healthy families, don't see their fathers all the time because their fathers are, busy, something that you haven't never been. You understand the concept of being busy. Maybe you have been busy fighting with Megan, but that is not a real job. I'm talking about a real job. I'm talking about having a job, and maybe those parents leave home really early in the morning. Kids are still sleeping, and they arrive really late in the evening, so kids are already sleeping. You think about that, Harry? I don't think you know anything. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Speaking of the Armchair Expert podcast in 2021, the prince alleged that many of his issues stem from the pain his own father had experienced due to bad parenting. Discussing Prince Charles, Harry claimed that the way Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip raised their children meant that he is treating me in the way he was treated. I'm going to tell you something, Harry. This sounds like a great opportunity. I don't think you have. I don't think. I'm going to talk to my rogues right now. I'm going to stop talking to Harry. I'm going to talk to my rogues. I don't think Harry has the ability, the metacognition, to be able to think about his own feelings or think about his raising and how his father was raised. I don't think he has the capability of this. Someone else wrote this for him. To steer, this comes from how my father was raised. Harry, you know that there's something that is called generations, right? And you know that there's a huge gap of generations between your grandmother and your father and you, right? And every single generation had their ways of raising the best that they could. And if you were even remotely aware, as this implies, of that difference in generation trauma, then precisely you would not be complaining like a biatch like this. You understand what I'm saying? If you really understood, okay, there's this trauma, okay, I must just step up and just not talk about this because I'm going to do my deadlifts at the gym. I'm going to go and do anything at the Invictus Games. You're already winning at life. You don't complain. You think it was different for William, for instance? You think it was different for him? You think that he was raised different? No. In fact, no, I have to correct myself. William was indeed raised differently because he is the heir apparent. He's the heir, right? It's very easy, and he's gonna be raised in that way. You had all the freedom of being the spare. So you could have chosen. You have a little more freedom to do stuff. And you're complaining and you're talking about that. I'm pretty sure that William is also aware of the way Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip raised his father. But he's not whining about that. He's not complaining about that. He is a man. I'm pretty sure that William lifts heavy like a man, like a true man. Not you, Gingerbread. You're pathetic. By moving his family to America with Meghan, Harry said he was hoping to raise his own children differently. I hope that Archie someday lifts heavy. Oh, not like his father. Yeah, so many pictures of they hanging out. What more did you want, Harry? Sometimes you have got to make decisions and put your family first and your mental health first, he said. When the late Queen was alive, she took a much more traditional view of how to look after her mental health. In royal biography, my mother and I, Ingrid Stewart, said the Queen could have been the one who needed to put her mental health first, but instead she did what she always did, compartmentalize things. Yeah, she did that. That's what everyone should do, and I think that is a very good way. You have troubles in. Everyone has troubles in their marriage, with their kids, with their community, at work, everything. You just don't let your troubles in your work, at work, leak into your family's problems or into your family. Maybe you don't have problems with your family. Maybe you don't have problems with your spouse or your kids. Maybe you do have problems at your job. It is a sign of mental fortitude and emotional fortitude to not let the troubles and the problems of your work, your job, to leak into your family. I'm not saying that as a man you cannot talk about, issues with your wife. That is something that every man should do, but not in a whiny way. Not that I'm complaining this. No, I have. We men. Let's now we're talking about the topic of men and therapy of that and all that. As men, we should face troubles and discomfort and the struggle, the daily struggle, as an opportunity to be better, to be faster, to be stronger, to be more resilient, everything. That's what makes us mature and be able to handle even bigger issues, even bigger projects and challenges and everything. So we will always have this struggle. We will be in this constant state of struggle. I understand, Harry, that this is alien to you. I'm 100% sure, I have no proof, but no doubts either, that your grandmother taught you this. That is the challenges in life and how you compartmentalize them that make you grow as a man, that enter for one ear and just went out the other, just like that. Because there's emptiness. Hey, someone there, nothing. Nobody's home, nothing in there. That's Harry. He didn't get the message. He failed the test. I mean, Queen Elizabeth must be rolling her eyes. So it's like 360, 720. So many times. It's like wind turbine. So I have no other way. I'm pretty sure she taught him that. I'm pretty sure that, of course, Charles taught him that. But no, it's much better to just go and whine, because that's what your woke friends in California have told you, don't you, Harry? I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. All those woke friends, you don't have. Maybe even I'm pretty sure even Nacho would be rolling his eyes. What are you saying, man? What kind of stupid shit is this? Have you tried lifting weights? Seriously? At one point in your life? The Queen felt her son had pulled himself together and done well with both William and Harry since the separation and divorce from their mother, she wrote. The Duchess of Sussex has also been candid about her mental health battles. I'm not going to talk about Meghan and her made-up mental health battles. Made up. Never existed. Never happened. She said she couldn't be left alone and told her husband she didn't want to be alive anymore before claiming Buckingham Palace staff ignored her plea for help because she wasn't a paid employee. Yeah, Meghan, you deserve that voice. You deserve that voice. Describing how she considered ending her life, believing it was better for everyone. Meghan said, I knew that I didn't say it, that I would do it. I just didn't want to be alive anymore, and that was a very clear, real, and fine, constant thought. Oh no, this is flashback all over again. Again, this I want to talk about this topic. Sometimes we review some topics about the dastardly duo, the Montecito Morans, as a reminder that even if we are talking about quote unquote royal gossip, this is not really royal gossip. You know what? Because Harry said all this himself. And Harry has repeated all this himself, and Meghan has said all this herself so many times that it's not gossip. I have not said one thing that they hadn't said themselves. This is not gossip. We need to review that to realize, hey, wait a second. Do real men behave like this? Have we forgotten the way that real men do behave? How is it so different how Harry and William behave? But I would like to know what I think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and remember to check my merch and download my free body language tips in the description of this video. Much love. and bliss.